this is Barbara Velez, and today we're gonna talk about how to establish your non-for-profit organization. It's just 3 little steps, and this is just how to establish it in a nutshell. So the first thing that you need to do once you have decided to establish your organization is to go to your state Department of State and request a form to submit your articles of incorporation. Okay, and then you need to think about the articles of incorporation of like the birth certificate of your organization. In the articles of incorporation, you will need to put the name of the organization. You will have to have at least 3 people in your organization that will sign the forms of the articles of incorporation, and preferable to if you have, like, let's say you and your husband are in the corporation, you might want to have 2 additional people, because normally as you move forward in time and you decide to then move on into formalize other documents for your non-for-profit, you might find conflict if 2 of the people that are part of your organization are married. Okay, so it will basically will count as 1. So but in the early stages it's okay, but as you move forward you need to think about these things. So once you have that document, it's really easy, but you have one article of incorporation that is the most important article of all. They're very simple. The first one, you're gonna say what is the name of your organization, but and normally the second one is when it was established and where, and all those details. But normally the third article of incorporation is where you state your purpose. Okay, and this is very important, that if you are establishing yourself or your ministry as a non-for-profit organization, you have to fall into 3 categories. On one of these 3 categories. Okay, it could be with religious purposes, with education purposes, or with caritative purposes. Those 3 will allow you to fall into the category of non-for-profit under the section of the IRS 501c3, because you don't want to fall into a non-for-profit that has other purposes. Normally, ministries and churches fall into one of the 3 categories, and as you move forward seeking exemptions or establishing your organization, this will come in handy. So another thing that you need to think when you are drafting your purpose is that you need to know beforehand if you wish to apply to under section 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Service or Internal Revenue Code. Why is this important? Because this will give you some extra extensions or opportunities if you are a local small ministry or a church. You might say, I don't need that, and the reason why a church might not need that is because churches normally and for all definitions fall automatically and are not required to apply under section 501c3. If you wish to apply, it's recommended so you can have your papers in order, but you are, for all status of law, consider that you automatically, because you are a church, are under section 501c3. If you are a ministry, then I recommend that you include in your articles of incorporation the verbiage that says that you will be incorporated as a either religious, educational, or caritative purposes under Section 501c3. If that is your desire, you can go to irs.gov under religious under Section 501c3, and there's many publications that will give you that verbiage. And then basically you sign. If you want to establish another article that defines certain other things, like how many directors will include your organization, that's fine, but those are the main things that your articles minimum will have to have, and then you sign and date. Okay, make sure your form is complete, because if it's not complete or has missing information, they're gonna return that to you. So, and then you have to submit the whole thing all over again. Okay, check your fees, because each state is different and they have different fees and different criteria. Once you have submitted your articles of incorporations and you have your documents sealed, it normally takes about 2, maybe 3 weeks to get them back. Then you have your organizational document that says that you have been incorporated in your state, and that will allow you to apply for an employer identification number. So you it's form SS4, and then it's really easy. You can do it online. You also need to have that form with you once you submit it, and that it's like if you think about the articles of incorporation as your organization's birth certificate, this will be sort of your your organization's social security. Okay, so it's very important, because with those 2 documents, then you will move on to the next step, which is the establishing of your bank account. If you don't have articles of incorporation, and if you don't have your employer identification number, even if it's for banking purposes that you are asking for that, then you won't be able to establish your bank account. Okay, and basically that's the 3 steps you need to establish your organization. Once you have done that, you are fully considered that you are operating as a non-profit organization. Then after you have established your bank account and do all of these things, then you have to establish an administrative structure to manage your finances and your funds, and to comply with the rules and regulations of submitting forms. Okay, but we will talk about that later. At this point, as you continue growing your organization, then you might want to consider to apply under the IRS code 501c3. Churches, they don't have any limit of time to do this, because as I said earlier, they are by all means considered exempt until that code. But if you're a ministry and you plan and you are growing accelerated, or you are growing, you might want to look into that and see how much time you have from the time you incorporated your organization to the time that you can do your 501c3 submission without any penalties, or without them asking you extra questions about it. I think that's pretty much all, and it summarized everything. And if you have any questions, please leave them under the comment section so we can come back and circle back and answer your questions. You can also go to the irs.gov or to your state Department of State state office and check the information for non-profit organization. I hope this it's a good topic for you and will answer some of your questions. Have a good day and see you next time.